Hello and welcome to the A&P. I am Alex Johansson and my co-host Patrick McCallum. Patrick,
Hello, everyone. How are you getting on?
we're having logical discussions about the state of the world. Let's get into it, brother. Hey, Patrick, how you doing, bud?
Not too bad at all, bud. How are things?
Going great. So this is the fourth speaker, Yoseph Haddad from the Oxford Union debate crew.
Okay.
And it's the same concept. It's the same proposition as before. It's this house believes Israel's an apartheid state responsible for genocide. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's, again, an errant title. And I'm sure that Mr. Haddad will give us some background on it. Now, we've seen 3 of these so far and talked about them. So this one should be pretty smooth because, you know, it's such a non-controversial topic and everything. So. You ready to go there, Patrick?
Yes, all set and ready. Let's have
All right,
listen to this young man.
Here we go.
Oh, we're having fun already, I see. Well, first of all, I'm glad that you brought, Mr. President, the uploading to the social media, because get this. Listen to this.
أبا أنا قاعد أكلمك من جوبا بسيم افتح الواتس تبعه كل وين شوف كيف قتله شوف كيف قتلت بيدي يابا ابنك قتل يهود هاي دخلوا في بيدي يابا قاعد أكلمك من جوال سعودية قتلته وقتلت جوزها 10 بيدي يابا قتلت 10 يابا 10 بيدي قتلت.
I understand, I'll translate, don't worry. It's for the majority of Arab speakers here. Okay, this is a Palestinian, not affiliated with Hamas, according to what he says, just a citizen. And he's saying, Dad, Allahu Akbar, I just killed 10 Jews. I have their blood on my hand. I stole her phone. I'm speaking with you from her phone. This is a Palestinian, which you will call a civilian if the IDF eliminates. So, this is one of the many videos that Hamas uploaded, and they themselves were proud of killing, guess what, Arabs and Jews in the 7th of October. And just before I start actually my speech, you know, it's funny, Mr. President, you as an Egyptian talking about the land of Palestine and stalling. You know, back in 1948, when the Arabs did not agree to the partition plan and the Jews did, and they opened the war and they lost the war. They lost the war, but you know what? They kept the West Bank and they kept Gaza. Do you know who actually ruled Gaza between 48 to 67 and who?
Do you know?
Egypt.
Yep.
Ruled the West Bank between 48 to 67? No, not Israel. It was Egypt in Gaza, and it was Jordan illegally in the West Bank. Now, here's a question, rhetorical one, because I really don't care about your answer. From 48 to 67, you as an Egyptian, you should know that Egypt controlled Gaza, yet they never offered a state to the Palestinians to take, which right now they are actually fighting for. They're also fighting for the West Bank. They're fighting for borders of 67. That's at least what the Palestinian Authority wants. Not like Muhammad al-Kurd and all the distinguished speakers who wants the annihilation of Israel from the river to the sea, right? But here's the thing. How much I bet with you that you have no clue which river and which sea, but you are like zombies. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Listen carefully. If you want to free Palestine, first free Palestine from Hamas. First free Palestine from the terrorists.
He's got a pretty good point.
Yes.
Right? In 2000,
as I said, he made a very good point there about these young people. Is they should really understand their history.
Right. Well, you talked about that in the previous episode with Mr. Sakardati, the gentleman that's sitting behind Mr. Haddad there.
Yes.
That if you don't read what they did in the past, you will do what they did in the past.
You're doomed to repeat your history.
You are doomed, in fact, to repeat it. And it looks like he's telling this the gentleman who is in charge of the Oxford Union, the gentleman that's calling the points of order and all those things, is actually Egyptian. So
yes, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hey, like I see you, bud. I see what you're doing here. Not the best.
So, of course, Booze, here's the thing. If I say free Palestine from Hamas and you actually booing, then guys, I'm sorry to tell you, you are a terror supporters. Point. That is the point. Now, when I'll give you, I promise you, I'll give you. I'll tell you what, I thought by giving point of information, it means that the speaker is brave and he's not afraid to speak. Apparently, the president here is such a coward that he couldn't even take one point of view. But don't worry, I will allow you. Nico, stop it. In Arabic we say sidniat, in Hebrew says stop.
Interesting when he brought up that point, we see an awful lot of them walking out right now.
Yeah.
When he brought up the point of Egypt had 20 years to give Palestine their freedom.
Oh, for sure.
I think a lot of these young people just started walk. I can see, you can see in the video, a lot of them walking out there.
Right. It's
I think when they get hit by real world facts, the entire argument falls apart real quickly.
right, and he's true. If the Palestinians aren't released from Hamas, but they elected them in 2006, right? And they were actually the lesser of two evils at the time, because the group that was in charge was worse than them. And I'm thinking some countries had some kind of finger in the pot on that one, like trying to direct that. I'm not going to say which countries I think might have been stirring that soup, but there's probably a couple out there that were stirring that soup. So
now, that's the entire history of the Middle East, unfortunately.
For her.
This is second time this speaker has been booed, which is important.
I am fully aware of the forms of the House, and I will do my best to make sure that the speaker has the silence. Thank you.
To be honest with you, I'm not surprised. And in fact, when everybody say, I hope...
Another point of what has been raised, I have to take it.
Just for the sake of having the debate, could the speakers on the opposition please avoid the hostility towards members of the House, just for the sake of continuing this debate?
The point of what has been up. Thank you very much. Please continue.
All right, so basically, what we're talking about...
I think members of the opposition will afford the same courtesy to members of the House as they receive.
Thank you. All right, now...
There are consequences for showing your ass in the debate hall, apparently.
Yes.
And now we all got to talk about how when you show your ass, hey, you're not going to get the respect because you done showed your ass.
Yeah.
Just to make one very obvious statement, everybody is saying the House should vote. I hope the House would vote, as if we already don't know what the House is going to vote tonight. But you know why I'm here? I'm here, one, just to show you that we are not afraid to confront all those anti-Israeli lawyers who twist the facts and lie time after time. And what's so crazy is that the majority of you have never been in the land of Israel, have never lived in the land of Israel. And then you have the audacity to come to speak to an Arab who was born in Haifa, the largest mixed city in Israel, raised in Nazareth, one of the largest Arab city in Israel. And then you got the audacity to tell me if I live under apartheid regime. Shame on you. You have no clue what you're talking about. So allow me, in order for me to actually explain what's going on. Thank you. Let's go back to my childhood. I'm an Arab Israeli born in Haifa, largest mixed city in Israel, where you have Christians, Muslims, Druze, and Jews living in the city. At age 3, I moved to Nazareth with my parents, which is the largest Arab city in Israel back then. Today it's Rahat. And the way I grew up because, being with Jews and Arabs together, playing football together. That's what we like. And because we were playing football in the largest mixed city in Haifa, we had Jews, Christians, Muslims, and Druze playing together. And do you think at the age of 11, 12, we cared that this guy is a Jew or this guy is an Arab? We just wanted to play football together. And that's what we did. And step by step, we start going out together, drinking, even inviting each other to holidays. Yes, for instance, Christmas, then the Christian friends would invite the Jews and the Muslims and the Druze to see the holidays of Christmas, for instance. Whether it was Eid al-Adha, then the Muslims or the Druze would invite the Jews, and the Christians and the Jews would invite them to see each other and how is those holidays going together. And yes, when it was Passover, then the Jews will invite the Christians and the Muslims and the Jews to see the holidays. This is how we bridge gaps. Additionally, we wanted to learn Hebrew and we wanted to learn Arabic because language,
actually
you bridge gaps. This is how I grew up.
It is interesting the points he brought up there about bringing young people together from both sides of different communities. That's how we.
Four sides.
That's how we bridge.
Druze, Jews.
Yeah, that's how we
Arabs,
bridge the
Christians,
gaps in our own history. That's how we started bridging gaps between Protestants and Catholics. We started bringing young people together, started socializing together. If we'll see, we are now seeing in Northern Ireland where there's only small little pockets of hate left.
Right, the hate
where the
doesn't
vast
cement
majority
itself because you see people as people. The religious views aside. I mean, unless it's some kind of view that says that your people need to die for my people to be good, as long as it isn't that, you can generally get along with another group of folks. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in our own history, we're Protestant and Catholics, and I'm just talking from Irish history.
Yep.
We've tried for generations to bridge that gap, and it's only in the last 30 plus years that is actually coming true in certain parts. Most of Northern Ireland is very much peacefully living together.
Right.
But that took generations and generations and generations, and this will take multiple generations, if not, it'll take generations.
Right.
Of coming together.
And when I arrived at the age of 16, I asked myself a very simple question because I saw that my Druze men friend and the Jewish friends are starting their enlistment to the IDF. Now, I asked the question, why I am not serving in the IDF? Apparently, some people do not realize that Arab Christians and Arab Muslims are not obligated to serve in the IDF, but if you want, you can volunteer. I decided to volunteer and serve in the IDF. Many people ask me, why did you choose to take that decision and actually serve in the IDF? I said, guys, it's in the initials. It's the IDF. It's not the JDF. And IDF means Israeli Defense Forces are not Jewish Defense Forces. And when Hamas and Hezbollah and the Iranian regime attack Israel, they attack all the citizens of Israel. And when the IDF protects Israel, the IDF protects all the citizens of Israel, whether you want it or not. This is how I looked at it, and this is how exactly it was. And then when I arrived at the age of 18, just a month and a half before the beginning of my service, a person came to me and said, Yosef, are you absolutely sure that this is the way and the path that you want to take? And I said 100% yes. That was about.
So he's willing to put his life on the line to protect other citizens of Israel, regardless of their background.
Yes, because he classifies himself as an Israeli.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, that's courageous. That is a courageous act. That is the right answer. If you have the capacity and you can do it and provided the opportunity, that's the right answer.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm very proud of that, Shame. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really, really proud of that, Shame. Now, and I said, yes, I'm 100% sure that this is the way that I want to take. All this was right up until the 4th of October, 2003. On the 4th of October 2003, which is a month and a half before my beginning of the service, a Palestinian female suicide bomber entered the Maxim restaurant in Haifa and blew up that restaurant. It's a restaurant co-owned by Arabs and Jews. People from Arabs and Jews are eating there, working there. The devastating result of that terror attack, 21 Israelis were murdered, Arabs and Jews. Over 50 were injured, Arabs and Jews. Arabs and Jews were killed because of that Palestinian terrorist. From that moment, I realized one thing. My decision wasn't 100%. It became 1,000,000%. And I knew that serving in the IDF is not only the right thing, but it's the most moral thing to protect my society. And when I say my society, I'm not talking about the Jewish society. I'm talking about the Israeli society, where you have Jews and Arabs together. And you can shout shame as much as you want. As I told you, I am so proud in every decision that I took to protect my country, to protect my society, and to protect my people from terrorist organizations like
He's
Wow.
loud. Whew,
Yeah.
is he loud?
Wow. But he's a very, very, very brave young man.
Oh, for sure.
And especially when you see the reactions, when people look at the video, you see the reactions of the
audience.
Yes.
They can't
All
believe.
they can shout is shame to him. They can't call him any other name because he is Arab. He is Muslim. He served in the IDF. All they can use the word is shame. They can't throw any other slur at him.
Well,
like they have been doing.
that isn't a thing to slur. Someone who's going to defend their country.
Yes, but we've seen the vitriol from other members of the audience when members of the Jewish community were standing there and speaking.
Right.
We saw their reaction to the Jewish talkers. But now that there's a member of their own community standing there, all they can shout is shame. They can't shout any other slurs.
Well, there's a reason specifically for that word. We don't have the time to get into why that word specifically, but yeah. It's more virtue signaling, and it's really awkward, and it's incorrect. It's an incorrect label. All right, let's get back to our friend here who is hollering.
Like Hamas, who time after time kill Arabs and Jews. Now, after a year, I become a commander. I, as an Arab, was a commander over Jewish soldiers in the IDF. Take that, apartheid. You're talking about apartheid. I gave orders to Jewish soldiers to do exactly what an Arab IDF soldiers said to do. And then, as I said, you keep shouting shame. I'm proud of that, proud of that, proud of that, proud of that. I do want the time when they shout shame. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to actually give you a point. One time I was in a lecture and I gave exactly this point where I said, I'm an Arab. I commanded over Jewish soldiers in the IDF. And then some anti-Israeli zombie get up and says, Yosef, you are an absolute sucker. You know why? And I said, why? Because once there is no use of you, you're an Arab. The Jews will kick you and throw you to the garbage. That's what has been told to me in front of 500 students. When there is no use of you, the Jews will throw you. Everybody started cheering there from the anti-Israelis, clapping and like having fun. And I say, this is really interesting. Because you know what? I have a story where there was no use of me. And in fact, not only there was no use of me, but saving me is putting Jewish lives in danger. Now, according to this anti-Israeli, this is the perfect time. I do need to finish this story. They interrupted me too many times. Now, as I said, this person who said to me that Jews will throw you in the garbage, then based on his idea, this is exactly the best time to do it. Throw me to the garbage. But instead of that, 4 soldiers put me on a stretcher. Yes, because I participated in the Second Lebanon War. Fight Hezbollah, the terrorist organization, and I was injured 4 days before ceasefire. At that time when I was injured badly, and knowing that Hezbollah is going to target the rescue mission, the Jewish soldiers there, they should have thrown me to the garbage according to him. But instead of that, they put me on a stretcher, lifted it up, backed up with another 4 Jewish soldiers, run 3 kilometers under fire when an RPG goes above your head, and literally bringing me to safety, saving my life. They didn't have to do that according to any things that you think about. Everybody talking about the relationship between the Arabs and Jews, and let me tell you why I'm so positive, so strong voice about that. Because while you bullshitting about what's going on, I felt it. I smelled it. I tasted it. I saw it. I heard it. It happened to me.
There's no substitute for experience sometimes, right?
Exactly. And you notice there's not one of them shouting that story down. Because they have no response to it.
Well, how could you? Like,
they can't respond to it because it goes against everything they're being
taught.
Brainwashed to think.
It's antithetical. It doesn't make sense. You know? That's
as he said, even if you look at the audience behind him.
Right. Well, it's incredibly brave of the soldiers that carried him out, you know?
Yes.
That is, like, you don't have your gun. You're not watching to get fired upon. You're just trying to make sure you can get your battle buddy up on out of there. Yeah.
Yes.
You know? Like the most important thing when your fellow soldier is hurt, you try and get him out as best you can. Super.
But it is an important story to hear, especially when you see the reaction of all these young people, because they're being taught that, oh, when the Jews are finished with you, as he said, they'll throw you to the curb. They have no response to his real life experience of being rescued.
You say a thing would happen this way. I experienced a thing that was exactly the opposite. Well, I mean, it's personal experience.
Yes.
Right. And you can't always go on my personal experience was this because statistically something else might be the case. Right.
Yes.
But that's combat, and combat doesn't really work like that. You know, it's not how that works. When under fire, you do a thing, and those things that those soldiers did to get their commander out of there was absolutely courageous. So
yes.
Want to lie, keep lie. But the simple fact is, when you arrive and speak about the apartheid myth, you need to understand that when you talk about apartheid, you either bring facts or you be quiet. Because according to Amnesty International, Israel is making an apartheid regime from the river to the sea, including the 2 million Arab Israelis, which is a blatant lie from the river to the sea. Because here, this is me winning actually an honorary doctorate from the University of Ariel when you talk about academics. This is Salim Zubran, an Arab judge who sent to prison a Jewish prime minister and a Jewish president for committing crimes. Both of them were Jews. An Arab judge sent to prison a Jewish prime minister and a Jewish president to jail. You see this MK? This MK is the most anti-Israeli member of Knesset in Israel. Yet this MK earns $10,000 from the taxpayer. Most of them comes from a Jew, and he has the right to talk about Israel as much as he wants. If he lived in apartheid, he would be in jail right now. And how about Samir Haj Yahya? You know what's so amazing? There's a stereotype. They say the Jews control the money. Jews control the money. Well, guess what? Samir Haj Yahya is an Arab Muslim from the city of Taybeh. You know what's so amazing about Samir Haj Yahya? Should I say Dr. Samir Haj Yahya? He was the head of the largest bank in Israel. An Arab Muslim is the head of the largest bank in Israel in a stereotype where you see that the Jews control the money. And how about this guy? I'll finish. I'm going to finish.
Not the point of information. Have to be seated. Go ahead, point of order. Yeah.
Annie, let's take the microphone a little bit. Thank you for that. And I'll try to be less intensive, but you obviously understand.
Yes, I think that was the point of order.
Stand in front of
him to.
Yeah, dude was loud.
So yeah, to stop him from clipping his mic.
Right.
You knowing my reality, and when there are a bunch of people that never been in Israel and telling me my reality, of course I would be a little bit with over motivation and talking like this. Let's continue about the Israeli apartheid. Look at this. This is Anan Khalaili. He's an Arab Muslim playing for the Israeli football team. Not only that, when he played for the under-19 Israeli soccer team, he finished as the top scorer, where Israel achieved an unbelievable achievement, finishing third in football. This is crazy, I'm telling you. Now, before I finish, here's what you will not going to hear. What you're not going to hear from our nice gentlemen and opponents here, you will not hear them talking about this person. I'm not even sure that they know who is this person. Do you have any idea, Mr. President? Anybody has idea who is this? Of course not. You know, this is Islam Hijazi. She was killed with more than 90 bullets by Hamas because she wouldn't give them aid. She was responsible for giving aid. And when Hamas, the terrorists, came to take this aid and she refused, they shot her. You know what's so crazy? They did not deny it. Whoever calling me liar, Hamas did not deny it, you useful idiots. Well, you know, but here's the story. You will never ever talk about it. But here is my last point about the apartheid, about the relationship of the Arabs and the Jews. Does anybody of you even know who they are? Yosef and Hamza? Yosef and Hamza are Arab Muslim Israelis who were kidnapped by the terrorist organization Hamas on the 7th of October and still held hostages over 415 days. This is the reality.
Whoa, he's intense.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Yes.
as of the time of this debate, it had been 415 days that those two
Yeah.
Arab Israelis have been held, kidnapped, and in captivity.
Yes.
So I get
It is.
it. It's not a good thing at all. And when
It is-
Israel
it is-
says, "Hey, you stole our people, give them back," that seems pretty reasonable to me, Patrick. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's interesting that when he showed him the pictures of that young aid worker who was shot by Hamas, and they turn around and call it lies, and you see the women cheering in the background. I'm looking at the video here right now, smiling and laughing.
That's insane.
About he's talking about two hostages, and they're smiling away in the background. It's as he called them, useful idiots, and a lot of these useful idiots should really look at their history in a lot of ways, because it's not just Jews and Arabs who live in the state of Israel. There's also Christians like myself who live in the state of Israel.
And Druze too, yeah.
Yes,
And
there's a lot of
an amalgamation of people that have an amazing place. I don't know. It just seems really, really disrespectful.
Yes.
And if you think, and look at this person here booing the Arab Muslims. So you understand the reality, huh? There is a person here that booing Arab Muslims being held hostage by the terrorist organization Hamas. This is absolutely unbelievable. And this is my last comment, because I know that I've been here because of this interruptings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, just to let you know, if anybody, because I've heard here someone saying collaborator, I really don't want you. I don't want you. I've heard that someone called me here collaborator. I really urge you not to insult Nico Pellet, please. That's one. And second, to refer to the genocide act that you're talking about. There's a reason why all of you, or the majority of you, talking about 40,000. Ask yourself one question. Why you never differentiate between combatants and civilians? Why you always bringing 40,000? Once you start realizing that the IDF managed to eliminate more than 10,000 terrorists, you will understand what something called the ratio in war, unfortunately, that Hamas started. Whether you like it or you don't like it. I know. No, they're booing.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't
Okay.
think the audience liked that one, bud.
No.
They got revved up.
I think when they see the facts, it's very hard to dispute it. As I said in the previous episode, there's no saints or sinners when it comes to war.
Right.
But we also have to understand October, where Israel was attacked. Unfortunately for Hamas, I think they didn't expect the response from Israel to be so swift and decisive. I think
they had to. I think they were looking to win in the court of public opinion because they don't care
they
about
were.
their civilian population.
Don't get me wrong. They have won in the court of public opinion in a lot of areas of the world, but the court of public opinion is not going to win you a war on the ground.
No.
I think Hamas is realizing that at the moment.
Well, and Israel's rather uninterested in what social media has to say about what they're doing. They're like, here's what we're going to do. And the world's like, we don't like it. And Israel's like, well, that's unfortunate. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Let's see how that works out for you, bud.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's got 1 minute left.
Yeah. It is interesting to see when they were calling him a collaborator and they're insulting him, and I think it's disappointing that young people, as I keep saying, in the Western world, especially highly educated young people, are falling into the trap of being easily led, or as he called them, being made into useful idiots.
They end up being bad actors.
And I see that with this audience in particular.
So not only bad actors, but bad faith actors. And a lot of that
Yes.
is because they don't understand that their intellectual drive has been hijacked by an outside force, be it algorithms or whomever in their life is telling them that, this is the way that
Or-
it is, and it's not really. They get told what to think and not how to think, and that's unsafe.
As we say, sometimes it comes down to the way a fate is taught
Mm-hmm.
as well. They can breed certain hatreds of others.
It's unfortunate. Here we
Yes.
go. We got 1 minute left for this fellow. Let's see what he's got.
I can't finish. I want to finish.
Order.
I want to finish.
Order.
I wanna
Could I
finish.
ask the speaker to conclude?
I really want to finish. Guys, I really want to finish. Keep booing me, and I'm going to keep going. Go. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, what is happening in Gaza today, what is happening in the war that it means Hamas and their supporters, started, and now they're crying, it's only because of the simple fact that you are losing. You're losing the Lebanese, you're losing the Arab world, you're losing every single thing that you thought that you can win. And you know why you're losing? I'm done.
He has been
And
very
you know-
generous with this time. I ask you to respect the rules of the House.
I'm fine. I'm just four less words. You know what you're losing because you thought you could destroy Israel, but Israel is here to stay.
Wow.
Whoa.
Really passionate young man. Really passionate.
Yeah, for sure. His counterpart was the same kind, a different kind of intensity, but still super intense as well.
Yeah.
That was a very interesting speech.
I think it. Well, I hope it might have opened the eyes of a few members of the audience. I doubt it, but I hope it has. That there is more than one side in every conflict.
Well, and as passionate as he is, there had to be, from their perspective, because they have the same kind of fuel, right? Except that theirs is fueled by virtue signaling and not actual virtue. Then maybe they'll take the time to learn. I mean, that would be a good thing.
Yes, especially the fact that a lot of these young people don't seem to understand that Hamas is a very... I'm trying to find a nice way of putting it.
Good luck.
Hamas is a very nasty organization. There's no other word of putting it.
Yeah, they're considered
It shows a
organization.
It shows the worst side of their fate. It shows the nasty side of their fate. I've known Muslims over my lifetime. Most of them are very decent, hardworking people. They don't sign up for a lot of this rhetoric. Let's call it what it is, hate. They don't sign up for an awful lot of this hate. A lot of them just want to live their lives, practice their faith, and their family and look after their families, not what Hamas wants to do. Hamas and other organizations, not just all of these organizations, a lot of them all over the world, preach hate for their own benefit.
Yep, it's not
That's what I'm trying to say.
Thing.
No, it's not.
So that concludes our 4-part arc. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I would like
I hope people did enjoy it. If they say if they want to have a little debate in the comments, they're more than welcome.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Yes.
Keep it civil. Please keep it civil.
Yes.
That would be appreciated. I don't have to go through and take things out just because they're so nasty. If you have something of evidentiary value and you're like, here's what I think this and that's cool. But let's just not call other people names and think that offense is the end of the argument, because being offended is that isn't an argument. That's you got your feelers hurt. So say something in response. Don't just respond with nastiness. So
exactly.
Anywho, thank you so much. Like and subscribe and ring the bell and the ding and all of the stuff. And Patrick and I, Alex Johansson, will get at you in the next one. Be good.